This is indeed Joy News Prime, where we bring you all the news that's news in Ghana and beyond. Welcome. My name is Israelite. Coming up, 2 more bodies retrieved from the Volta River at Yeji following yet another boat accident there. President Mahama inaugurates revamped Comenda Sugar Factory. He says will provide 7,000 jobs and cut Ghana's $200 million sugar import bill. Employment and Labour Relations Minister once again upbeat the strike by the country's judicial service staff will soon come to an end.
And coming up in business, ECG urged to take advantage of the local capital market in its bid to recapitalize and revamp operations of the company.
And we revisit the June 3 flood and fire disaster as we count down to the first anniversary. There'll also be sport, entertainment, and Joy News Interactive. Joy News Prime is also available across Europe on London-based ABN Television. Stay tuned. Our first story, President John Mahama has inaugurated the revamped Comenda Sugar Factory in the Central Region, projecting the plant will create over 7,000 direct and indirect jobs. The labor force, according to the president, will be required to grow, harvest and process the raw material needed to feed the plant's production capacity of 1,250 tons of sugar. The Comenda Sugar Factory, first established during the tenure of Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in the 1960s, shut down in the 1980s due to what has been described as gross mismanagement. President Mahama says a revamping of the factory resurrects Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's dream and is expected to cut Ghana's sugar import bill of about $200 million a year.
If we take those same attitudes that led to the collapse of the old factory, and this factory also collapses, we would lose employment, we would lose jobs, not only for the people working in the factory, but imagine the thousands of outgrowers who are going to be supplying this factory. Imagine the losses that they will make because this factory has shut down again. And I want to say that the catchment area for the outgrowers stretches as far as into the western region. Sugarcane can be produced from here to Kwesi Binsem and brought here to the factory for production. And the factory is paying for the transporting. They are paying the farmers some money to bring the sugarcane. And so it is a win-win both for the factory and also for the farmer. On behalf of the people of Ghana, I wish to formally express my profound appreciation to the government and people of India. I want to appeal to the chiefs and the landowners to release lands to the young people who want to work and earn an income from sugarcane growing. I want to also thank the chiefs of Comenda for the significant role that they played in bringing us to this point. Nana Num, we shall continue to count on you. This factory is for you. And I want Nananum of Comenda and the people of Comenda to keep a watchful eye on this factory so that it doesn't go the way the old factory went. Workers in this factory must be disciplined. We must have a sense of integrity. We must work in this factory as if it is our own property. We must not work in this factory as if it belongs to somebody else. The collapse of the old factory led to a loss of jobs.
Now let's get some more detail about this revamped factory. And joining me on the line is our Central Region correspondent, Richard Kojonyako. Good evening to you, Richard. Now, one of the issues that has come up in the last few days is where the factory is going to get its raw material, which is a sugar cane, from.
Well, thank you. Where they are getting their raw materials, this morning when we went there, we saw that there were about 10, 11, 12 truckloads of sugarcane that have been brought to the commissioning site, and they had started working on it, and we do not know the exact date that is going to produce its first sugar, but as to where exactly they are getting their raw materials, they have assured the farmers that they are going to give them 60 Ghana cedis per 1 ton of sugar or sugarcane that they bring, and the ministry will give them an additional 10 Ghana cedis. That is a bonus to them. And so they have assured the farmers. But as to where these farmers are planting the sugarcane and they will be harvesting them, we do not have any clue about them. I do not know what arrangement has been done between the farmers and the ministry or the agency that is going to be responsible for the production of the sugar. So that is, for that one, we do not really have a clue on that.
All right, so do we expect this factory to remain in operation? You know, it appears to me probably whatever sugarcane has come in was probably just to start operations or to just show to the cameras. Is that the case, or we expect it to continue to operate?
Yeah, it seems that is the case, because after these truckloads have brought the sugar, there needs to be some consistent supply of these sugarcane in order to keep production going. But it appears that after the 10, 12 to 12 truckloads that we saw this morning that were on the site, we do not really know, and unless the ministry tells us where the sugarcane will be coming from. But until now, we do not really know where exactly the continuation or the consistency is going to come from.
Now, how many workers have been employed at the factory so far?
The authorities responsible for that place are unable to tell us the exact number of people that they have employed. They have right now employed agronomists. They've also employed some drivers, and they have also told the residents of the area to bring their application, and employment is ongoing. That is what they tell me, that they are still in the process of employing people to beef up the place and to keep the place working. But as to how many or the number of people that are going to be employed, we do not have a clue about.
Okay, but I also believe that the people of Komenda are pretty excited that they have some ready jobs waiting for them.
Well, excitement is in the air, you are right, because for some time now, the factory was not working until it was revamped recently and being commissioned today. And so for them, it's an excitement in the air. But others also feel that, well, they need to assure them adequately of the security, because they should be given the incentives and the motivation to start planting the sugarcane as they used to, so that it will bring some kind of employment to them.
Right, thank you very much. There was Richard Kojo-Nyarko joining us from the Central Region. Moving on to other stories. Employment and Labour Relations Minister Haruna Iddrisu is once again upbeat. Striking judicial service workers will soon call off their strike. This was after a meeting with the workers on Monday. The workers, who have been on strike since May 20, are demanding payment of their 2-year consolidated salary. They accuse government of delaying the implementation of their revised salaries approved by the Judicial Council. Haruna Iddrisu told journalists after the meeting, though no specific agreement was reached, some progress was made.
I should indicate that some progress have been made, and tomorrow there would be a major definite public pronouncement on the future or otherwise of the strike action. The government negotiating team, led by the Honorable Atu Forson and Honorable Baba Jamal, is holding themselves in readiness for further consultations, discussion and clarifications on the referral to the President and the subsequent referral to the government negotiating team. So I'm hopeful and confident that before the close of work tomorrow, we all will know where we stand with the leadership of JUSAC.
He explained the ability to pay what the workers are demanding remains a challenge for government. Beyond the current strike, however, Mr. Iddrisu says a permanent solution to protracted strikes must be found.
It's not an easy one. We have to look at its financial implications for government vis-a-vis our ability to pay and accommodate within the constraints of the national budget and national economy. We need to plan for it. There are some matters relative to the Constitution that the Constitution, both in Article 149 and 158, makes some prerequisites that has to be determined in dealing with the salaries, conditions of service and salaries of judicial and non-judicial workers. And we need to walk through the process in a manner which respects the Constitution and respects the laws of Ghana and other institutions of Ghana. I'm particularly very satisfied with today's meeting and developments at the meeting and issues that we both tabled for consideration at the Wednesday meeting. It has to go through some review of our legislation and the labor law to categorize not just them, judicial service, but many others. But you have to engage further through building national consensus on how we want to contain strike actions in this country. I mean, in Europe and America, you go on strike 1 or 2 days, you are back to work. Must we not work towards such a system where in Ghana somebody is on strike for 1 week, for 2 weeks? It is not an acceptable way. It affects productivity and sometimes can endanger lives, just as this is endangering people's quest to seek justice and to have access to justice, and to avoid further obstruction of the legal system functioning more effectively.
On to one other top story we're looking at this. 2 more bodies have been retrieved from the Volta River at Yeji following Sunday's boat accident. It brings to 8 the number of confirmed deaths in the tragedy. 6 of the 8 are children whose bodies were retrieved during a late afternoon search by the Ghana Navy on Sunday. The boat with about 70 people on board is said to have hit a tree stump and sank in the middle of the journey from Nantwikopa to Yeji in the Branhafo region. Reports have it that some survivors were able to save a number of passengers who could not swim when the accident happened. Let's speak now to our Live FM's Daniel Techi, who has been following the story. Good evening to you, Daniel. How long is the search going to continue?
Hello?
Hello, Daniel.
Hello?
Yes, Daniel, I'm asking, how long is this search going to continue?
Well, as I speak now, the search team said they have stopped the search now. Now the search have gone to on hold, and they mean tomorrow morning they'll go again and continue with the search, because a guy who is complaining of the 4 of his relatives who have been found, who is yet to be found. Therefore, it means they can't say they have completely retrieved all the dead bodies from the lake. Therefore, there is a need that they continue tomorrow. So, as it stands now, they have halted the search and continue tomorrow.
All right, so the latest figures we're getting is that 2 more bodies were retrieved today. As at the time they called off the search, had they been able to retrieve any other?
No, apart from the 13 that we have retrieved so far, there is no any additional dead bodies that have been added to the 13. So the dead bodies, the number of dead bodies that we can confirm now is 13. Okay,
so break it down for me. Apparently 6 children were the bodies of 6 children were retrieved yesterday. When did they retrieve the others?
Yeah, yesterday 6 children were retrieved, and the ages were ranging from 1 to 3 years. Today there is another baby also within that age who have been added, making 7. Okay. Now, out of that 7, 6 of them, 6 of the rest are female. They are all adults.
All right, you're saying 7 more were retrieved today. Can you just run that by me again?
Yeah, 7 more were retrieved today, in addition to the 6 that were retrieved yesterday. So making the death toll to be 13. All and right. Out of that 13, we have 6 children, 6 women who are all adults, then 1 boy who is in the ages of 6 to 8 years.
All right, thank you very much, Daniel Techi, joining us from a Live FM. Now, moving on to another story. The police is waiting the autopsy report of the cause of death of a shooter who was allegedly beaten to death by some police officers at Krofrom in Kumasi last week. The death sparked disturbances in the town. 2 community protection officers who were arrested in connection with the crime are currently in police custody. Inshira FM's Ohiming Teya joins me with the very latest on that. Now, good evening to you. Ohiming, tell us about the involvement of these 2 community protection officers. Hello, Ohiming. Yes, Ohiming, tell us about the involvement of these two. They're in the custody of the police. To re-establish contact with Ohiming, you're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break at this point. When we come back, hopefully we'll have Ohiming back on the line so we can get the very latest from the Krofrom incident. Stay tuned. Right, we're going back to our story on the Krofrom incident, and the police is awaiting the autopsy report of the cause of death of a shoe dealer who was allegedly beaten to death by some police officers at Krofrom in Kumasi last week. The death sparked disturbances in the town. 2 community protection officers who were arrested in connection with the crime are currently in police custody. Insura FM's Ohiming Teria has joined me now on the line, and he's going to be giving us the very latest. Good evening to Ohiming. Tell us about the involvement of these 2 community protection officers.
Good evening, Israel. Actually, it involves 3 police officers and 2 community police assistants. They have been in the since Friday after the regional police commander, and other police officers into the farm of the disease. So after listening to the family's story and those police officers that they were all the rest side of the week now. We are so about to because the 5 people depend solely on the post-mortem report and the confirmed hospital together with the police officers and family guardians.
All right, Ohiming, we are unable to hear you. Your line is not very clear. We'll have to try and re-establish contact with you. The line has not been very helpful. We'll try and get back to you. Now, the WA prisons are in dire need of help. The facility, which was established to detain 80 prisoners, now has 225 convicts and remand prisoners. The infirmary of the prisons only exists in name, as prison officers pay the medical bills of sick inmates from their pockets. The facility has also been overtaken by bed bugs, thus giving the inmates sleepless nights. They even have fears that they may transfer disease from one inmate to the other. This came to light when officials of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice visited the WA prisons. Unfortunately, we do not have that story. But in other news, participants at a workshop organized by Amnesty International have called for the abolishing of the death penalty. They argue that even though the death penalty is enshrined in the 1992 Constitution as punishment for certain offenses, which courts in the country have also adhered to, no single person since 1993 has been executed. 137 people are on death row in Ghana as of February 2015. Rafiq Salam reports from WA.
The forum, organized by Amnesty International, was attended by traditional rulers, religious leaders, opinion leaders, parliamentarians, and civil society organizations. It is aimed at educating the Ghanaian public to better understand issues around the death penalty and to commit to the campaign to abolish it. Ghana is currently classified under the category of countries which are referred to as abolitionists in practice. This is because, even though the courts have continued to sentence people to death, no person has been executed since 1993. As of 22nd February 2016, 137 people are on death row in Ghana. Ghana over the years has made positive inroads towards the abolition of the death penalty, including the constitutional review process. The Commission recommended the abolition of the death penalty, which the government accepted. Growth, Mobilization and Activism Coordinator of Amnesty International, Ghana, Frank Doi, however, believes there are still obstacles and hurdles which must be cleared to reach the targeted goal.
Despite these positive trends, the courts continue to sentence people to death in Ghana. For example, last year, 2015, 18 death sentences were imposed in Ghana. Ghana also continues to abstain at the United Nations General Assembly when the vote is called on abolition of the death penalty. Perhaps this is partly because the country has not yet ratified the second optional protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which is a covenant that calls for the abolition of the death penalty in all countries. This, no doubt, is an uphill task for all of us, knowing especially that the views of Ghanaians about the issue is virtually equally divided.
Member of the Council of State and Paramount Chief of the Guli traditional area, Nasir Ibrahima, called on Amnesty International to move their campaign further to the grassroots level.
Some of us were there for 5 days on remand, and the conditions we went through was not the best. The prison conditions alone. And we talk of human rights. That is why some of us believe it is better we expunge death sentence from our rules.
Campaign coordinator of Amnesty International, Benes Na, threw more light on the forum.
Abolishing the death penalty, or those who are mostly convicted, are sometimes not the right people to be convicted. And the recent case of Aremeyao's revelation also indicates that the justice system has a lot of challenges in this country. And so when you kill someone who has actually not been the right criminal, you cannot bring the person back to life. And so I feel that the death penalty should be abolished.
A report by Rafiq Salam from WA.
Residents of Mangwase in the Kwapim North municipality of the Eastern region have vowed not to allow any politician to campaign in the area until the deplorable roads are fixed. The angry residents protested on Sunday, saying their livelihoods are threatened by the poor nature of roads there.
Mangwase, previously a commercial town with a booming market center and efficient railway transport system, is losing its glory due to the bad nature of the roads. Speaking to Joy News, Assembly member of the area, William Akole, says the situation is having negative impact on healthcare delivery.
I must be brutally frank about the bad nature of this road. It is very much inaccessible. We can't access any healthcare there. That is where our health center is. No motorbike will go there. No taxi will go there. No vehicle will venture to go there. And if you are dying, you die and die slowly.
He also bemoaned the inadequate infrastructural development in the area. According to him, the time has come for them to have their fair share of the national cake.
The situation must be salvaged now. Now, today, and not tomorrow. Otherwise, the situation is that we will not countenance, entertain any politicians, being opposition or being government in power, to come and campaign. We are tired, we are sick and tired of this situation for so long. That has culminated of malfunctioning of our market, either to which is commercial town of Ghana. Are we not part of Ghana?
Some peoples in the community also shared their frustrations with Joy News.
I sometimes see snakes on my way to school. The cars also speed a lot on this road, creating dust. I am pleading with the government to fix this road for us.
5:20. No, I could do school 6:30.
I normally leave the house at 5:20 and get to school at 6:30. Because of the long journey, I usually get home very tired.
The residents are calling on government to immediately address their plight, else they will not take part in this year's election.
The road, we have 6 channels to enter Mangwase. So we have the Adosu Road, we have the Suhum Road, we have Tinkon Road, we have Pakro Road, we have, I said 6 plus roads that link to Mangwase, but none of it is working. All is in shambles.
In fact, the people of Mangwase have suffered a lot. This is because our roads are very, very bad. There are a lot of men in this town who are ready to work, but the nature of the road has affected all the farmers to the extent that no truck want to go into the town and then bring their foodstuffs to the the town. You see, because of the bad nature of the road, you cannot even take your pregnant woman, sister, or wife to the hospital because of the nature of the road. You see, because of this, most pregnant women lose their babies on their way to the hospital just because the roads are not good. We want to tell the government, it is whether the road is fixed or this year we are not going to vote.
We're taking a break on Joy News Prime, where we have business coming up right after the break. Please don't go away. All right, time for business, and the general manager, the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, is saying that ECG should be taking advantage of listing.
In fact, his advice is not only going for ECG, but all other state-owned enterprises.
Except in the case of the Electricity Company of Ghana, I think what they say, the horse has bolted. Because the government has signed all this deal with the Millennium Challenge Corporation and all that, and I'm not sure how.
Exactly. But Israel, I think, is a step or an advice in the right direction. Because,
it is.
Yes, many companies are going in for other sources of funding, whereas the BERS or the stock exchange remains a very fertile ground for adequate funding or financing when people list on the exchange.
The stock exchange hasn't been very attractive in the last few years.
Well, there are, ups and downs of every discipline.
It's one of these downs, I guess.
Definitely.
All right, you take it away.
All right, so in business, government should take advantage of the local capital markets in a bid to revamp the operations of the ECG. Now, the ECG, this is coming from the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Kofi Yamwa. It follows calls by the Public Utilities Workers Union and the Public Service Workers Union for government to rescind its decision to outsource the management and operations of the company. Speaking with Joy Business, Mr. Kofi Yamwa also said government is better off considering raising funds locally to support ECG's operations than the privatization proposed by the Millennium Development Authority, MIDA.
If in the consideration of the owner of that company, i.e. the government of Ghana, the timing is not right for equity injection, at least the company can on its own come to the market to raise debt securities, and by so doing ring fence the inflows that will come from its operations so that it can, in quotes, assure investors that one, principal repayment will be forthcoming at due date, and interest repayments will also be safe hands. So we've made that advocacy in the past, not only in terms of the Electricity Company of Ghana, but other parastatals, that if equity is an issue for them in terms of shareholder decision, then they can always make available the market's opportunities as far as fixed income securities are concerned. And that is one of the reasons we set up the Ghana Fixed Income Market. It is open to not only government securities, but also corporate notes and bonds, and the companies that are out there, including ECG, Ghana Water, VRA, and so forth, are all welcome to use the market for that purpose. We have made this advocacy in times past, not only in the context of privatizing and so raising equity capital, but we have also advocated that if in the consideration of the owner of that company, i.e. the government of Ghana, the time is not right, the timing is not right for equity injection, at least the company can on its own come to the market to raise debt securities, and by so doing ring fence the inflows that will come from its operations so that it can, in quotes, assure investors that one, principal repayment will be forthcoming at due date, and interest repayments will also be in a good, safe hands. So we've made that advocacy in the past, not only in terms of the Electricity Company of Ghana, but other parastatals, that if equity is an issue for them in terms of shareholder decision, then they can always make available the market's opportunities as far as fixed income securities are concerned. And that is one of the reasons we set up the Ghana Fixed Income Market. It is open to not only government securities, but also corporate notes and bonds, and the companies that are out there, including ECG, Ghana Water, VRA, and so forth, are all welcome to use the market for that purpose. In terms of direct advocacy, we have not done that in recent times, but we have done that in the past. We don't need to go on on public platforms to do that advocacy. We have always done that in terms of one-on-one discussions with the sector ministries and so forth, and that is what we continue to do over the years.
Meanwhile, CEO of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. Edu Ananiantwi, has advised all state organizations to begin to put their houses in order even if they want to list on the Ghana Stock Exchange to recapitalize.
So you must make sure that your accounts are right. People will come and look at what is your accounts that you have prepared over the years. They have to look at that accounts. If you haven't prepared accounts before, you have to prepare. People will come and look at your corporate governance. Who are directors and who are management team in your organization? You must convince them that, yes, I have this kind of people who are in my organization. Your processes that you are using to operate, all these things you must sort that if you are doing things that is not right, you clean them up. Okay. For example, some people may be even owing statutory deductions and others. You want to make sure that you have clear, because people will come and review your document. Lawyers will come and see whether you have complied with all legal requirements that pertains to your operation. Okay. The finance people also will come and go through your books to see that your accounting and provisions that you have made and projections that you have made, which is going to convince people that you have value, they can invest in that value, you will keep on growing, your budgeting, your future requirements, and your future indications of your operations capacity and your ability to return people's, use people's money to generate value for the company. All these things you have to do, and that will result in you preparing what you call a prospectus or an offer document, which people will read and get convinced to invest in the company.
Away from that, June 3 will mark exactly a year after the Kwame Nkrumah Circle witnessed one of the country's worst flood disasters in history. The inferno that raced down the Goyal filling station, causing massive destruction of life and property, which are still fresh in the minds of many businesses which is situated in the area. Barely a week to mark the day, correspondent Sheila Tamaklo has been on the ground at Circle. She observes that the commercial bank adjacent to the Goyal petrol station has since been closed down operations. She also spoke to some persons who were affected by the disaster.
Okay, so today we are here in front of the former Goyal station, which about a year ago was gutted by fire and hundreds of lives were lost. We are here to find out from the businesses what has happened since that day. As you can see, the story speaks for itself. The former GCB Bank, which used to see so many people trooping, has been shut down. Now, businesses here tell us that their customers who used to visit the bank and also visit the fuel station no longer come here because of fear for their lives, for which reason their businesses are dying because their customers are no longer visiting. Well, we are here to find out how they intend to get back on their feet. What about their preparations in terms of insurance? Okay, so first of all, we'd like you to tell us how business used to be here before the disaster occurred.
Some of them think we were affected by the disaster. We are not alive, or maybe, and some of them too afraid to pass here if maybe they were partners, something happened.
So can you tell us if formally, like, I mean, the businesses, were they more than this?
Yes, because we were plenty here. Even me like this, I was having a very big table, and then I have another reserve books here where if people come and they buy from me to sell. So the books are here like wholesale. So because of this, now we are free to, we were having a container here to where we keep some of the books. So everything burned by the fire. So now we can see that because of the disaster, people fear to pass here, and the bank too is not functioning now. So the customers that used to come to the bank, they came and then take something from the bank. After then they come and buy something for us. So when they come in, the bank is not functioning too. They don't come in. So now the business here is not all that moving like that from how it used to move.
Okay. Now, previously you said that you had a container with government. Were you on some form of insurance?
Please, no.
And right now with the rains coming again, I mean, they are yet to really finish your construction. How are you preparing yourself should in case another disaster happen? Not necessarily fire, but what about water?
Since that didn't happen, anytime at all we see that the clouds started forming, and then we started packing and then to leave before it will rain.
Before the disaster, how was business in this area? How was your business?
Business was booming. Everything was okay.
But after the disaster, everything is very bad.
All right, so that was Sheila Tamaklo. It's now time to go to the stock market, and John is here, beginning of the week. John, good evening.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
How did the market start?
The market actually started absolutely very, very well, as it recorded a total volume by 3 p.m. today. Recorded a total volume of 1,099,000. That's quite significant. It can actually pass for one of the highest, over the year, actually, at a value of 729. This also means that mostly the equities that really traded were not that big cap equities. So you see the difference in that volume and then the value. That's basically. And then the market cap was able to sort of like decline just a bit, made some value in there. So that's a good signal for the market, but still was not able to actually move that much the composite index. The composite index still remains at 11.24% per annum. That means if you are actually investing in the market, you're losing close to about 11.24% year on year. Okay. And then the other index, the financial index, also doing almost about 13.45. Now, these were the movers on the market. Cowbank recorded one Pessoa return to their investors' capital. Goya returned 1. Societe Generale also returned 1. But EGN also lost 7 pesos to the investors' capital to close the market around 6.31 pesos per share. And also, so that's exactly it. Now, looking at the commodities, crude oil still staying at 49 points. That's $49.29 per barrel after losing about 30 cents per barrel. And then gold also lost $7.40 to be trading around $1,205 per ounce, as cocoa gained the highest gainer of the Ghanaian interest, gaining almost about $89 to be trading around $3,005. Now let's look at how the Ghana cedi actually fared against the major trading currencies here in Ghana, as the cedi lost against the US dollar, gained against the British pound, gained against the euro, but lost against the Chinese yuan, and of course the CFA franc. So that's exactly how it is. So 153 a CFA franc will get you 1 Ghana cedi, but you need 3 Ghana cedi, 83 pesos to get yourself 1 United States dollar for yourself tomorrow. Exactly. So
when the oil price will hit the $50 mark now.
We hope so. It wouldn't be that long, but it's actually finding time to really stay there, so the momentum can gather momentum. Sure. Once it hit the 50, there's no turning back. Actually.
All right. Thank you very much, John Amarko.
You're welcome, Emmanuel.
With the latest on the market analysis. Join John again tomorrow on the Marketplace for more detailed analysis of the African markets, both Ghana and some selected African markets. And that wraps up the business segment for tonight. My name is Emmanuel Abuachi. We have a few more stories coming up. Don't go away.
Right, so you're watching Joy News Prime. We're going back to our earlier story on the death of one young man at Krofrom in the Ashanti, in Kumasi, in the Ashanti region. Now, we're told that autopsy report the police said it has been awaiting is ready. And we have Erastus Asario Donko. He's joining us on the line to give us a brief on that. Good evening to you, Erastus. Now, tell us about this autopsy report, what it says, and apparently there's been some reactions to it.
Well, Israel, we are having a copy of the autopsy report coming in at this moment. It's signed by one Dr. Osei Sampini, who is a pathologist with the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. And it says that it was done in the presence of Mr. Kofi Boadi and Osei Kweku, who are family members, and then also in front of one Mafo of the regional CID and one Dr. Ernest Ajay. And it states the cause of death in 3 areas. It says congestive heart failure, biventricular cardiac dilatation, and then at the tail end of it, it says he died of natural causes. So that is the preliminary report that is coming in, and it is accompanied by the inquest form signed by a circuit court judge. Now, this is creating so much anger within the family members and the Krofrom community as I speak. I just left the place, and people are very angry. They are saying that the report, if as it is interpreted literally as it is, then it makes mockery of what happened that day, because they witnessed the victim being shot with tasers and being beaten by the 5 policemen in front of them. And so they will be very, very much surprised if the autopsy report will not find out any of these. But then we'll go on to say that he died of a natural cause, and that they will summon the 5 police officers before the African court.
All right, Erastus Saradonko, we want to leave it here, but we'll get back to you a lot later if you're able to get any further information saying has been released. And thank you for bringing us the details of this autopsy report. Now, moving on to other stories. Now, November 7th, or probably in December, anticipating that the multimedia group would bring them the comprehensive coverage of to tell us.
Deciding which side gets your ballot? Start hearing the issues.
Indeed, follow the news as it happens and get thought-provoking analysis.
Join us for unprecedented coverage of elections 2016.
Your election headquarters is on Joy News.
On TV,
radio, online,
and mobile.
Your vote is more than a thumbprint, more than party colors, more than family history. Your vote is the future. Join the conversation on Election 2016 on TV, radio, online, and mobile. #ElectionHQ.
Right, so before we went on that first break, I was telling you about our coverage, multimedia's coverage of the 2016 elections, and Jifa Bampo is here, and she's one of our veteran anchors and journalists here at Multimedia, and she's going to be taking us through some of the new programs we have lined up and how special and how different this election coverage is going to be. Good evening to you, Jifa.
Good evening, Israel. Pleasure to be on Prime.
And Jifa is looking sweet, as always. So if you've been listening to that wonderful voice on radio, now you're seeing her and looking all pleasant. And she's not doing joint caucus. She's here to talk about election. All right, good. So we have a number of programs lined up. Can you take us through some of them?
Okay, first, for those who may just be finding out about election headquarters for the first time, that's the brand name for our election coverage that is coming up now. In fact, it's already running, but we are now going to roll out some more items for everyone's pleasure. And one of the things we'll be doing will be a mobile application. So on that, you'll be able to access all current election-related news. So there's been some programming that's been ongoing already. We know that Ballot Box, which is one of the new entrants to the package of our election programming, has started. We also know that the SMS Roadshow, which is led by the Super Morning Show team on Joy Radio, has also begun. They've been in Central Region, they've been here in the Greater Accra region, they've also been in Kumasi, where Ballot Box has also featured as well. So those are the two new programmings coming your way, and it's all about providing the most up-to-date, most credible, most reliable, most sought-after election news in the English language space. And the good thing about it this time is because in the past we tended to just do it on radio, but now it's on radio, it's online, it's on television. So the appetite of our viewers and listeners and everyone in general who is interested in elections will really be whetted, because now you can go online, you can go to television, you can go to radio, and then there's the mobile app as well.
I'm actually pretty excited about the mobile app because of the opportunity that affords people who can't be behind their TVs or be, have their radios with them to get to monitor all that we're going to.
Yes, they'll get videos of all the big
and there's live streaming. So long as you have your internet, your data sorted, no worry.
Yes, and they'll also have audio. There'll also be pictures. So all the things that you think you may be missing by not watching TV, listening to radio, or actually getting online, you can actually get it on your phone once you get the mobile app. But of course, there are other programs to talk about as well. There's Constituency Diaries, and that's on TV, but it will now also be on radio, where we'll have various constituencies that will be profiled for everyone. So you may be watching out and your constituency may just slip in there. Of course, we can't do all the 275, but we will make the choice of the hotspots and the constituencies that generate a lot of interest as well. There's Crossfire.
Wow, Crossfire. Now, Crossfire, I mean, that's a really fire program.
Crossfire, I must say, is a really enduring program of the election headquarters brand. And those engaged are typically firebrands, people who are hot in delivery, hot on debate, hot on the argument.
Tony Adu used to host Crossfire sometime back.
Yes, Tony Adu used to host Crossfire. We had Victor Smith on Crossfire. We had some hot MPP reps as well. So this time it's going to be more diverse. Yeah. It's not just going to be only NPP or NDC.
Is Crossfire going to... Crossfire used to be on radio. Is it going to be on TV this time?
Well, for now, the plan is that it's on radio. So we'll have that. But there are other shows as well that will be just as hot. And you have Caucus. Majority Caucus and Minority Caucus, and then Joint Caucus.
Joint Caucus, which you host.
Yes, but let me just talk a bit about Majority Caucus. The Caucus essentially is the program that the political parties host themselves. They have their own presenter, they choose their own panelists, they choose their own topics. It's their way of reaching out to their constituents and in a way trying to convert the unconverted. So they will come in. They've started already anyway. Yeah. So on Wednesdays we have the Majority Caucus, NDC. On Thursdays we have the Minority Caucus. Now Friday is where we have Joint Caucus, which I host, and that can be really crazy sometimes. Very hot, fiery discussions. It may derive from the topics chosen from Minority and Majority Caucus. It could also lend itself to a topic that has suddenly emerged or is trending. So it's not exactly restrictive. But what it is we'll have 2 or 3 of the various political parties, and I will be moderating that session. And of course, sparks are allowed to fly. And the final program is Voters' Voice. That will allow the electorate to give a voice to peculiar issues other than those that you know, we all know about. Yeah.
All right. So I was actually going to ask about the Minority and Majority Caucus, because if the political parties are doing this all by themselves, I mean, they can, you know, say some pretty wild things.
Okay.
How are we controlling that?
Yes, we've had discussions with them about what the rules of engagements are. No defamation and the like. They sometimes bring their own videos and pictures. We have a production, so we take a look at the videos to be sure that it's aligned with what we believe in. It doesn't defame anyone or cause distress or harm to anyone on whatever political side of the divide they're on. So yes, we do some vetting. We also do engage with them consistently, because the viewers also have a certain expectation, and so sometimes based on the feedback we'll be letting them know about that. But it's been going on now for about a month and a half, and so far so good.
So good. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Jifa Bampo. Jifa Bampo, as I indicated earlier, is one of our veteran journalists here at Multimedia, and she hosts News Nights, but she's also host of Joint Caucus, as you heard her talk about. But I'm pretty much excited about the mobile application, and I need to bring in somebody sometime, probably tomorrow, to come and give us a live demonstration of how this mobile app works. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you international news. Right, so in the next few minutes, we're actually going to bring you the going back, a package put together by Francis Aban that looks at the June 3 flood and fire disaster. Before that, though, Aisha Ibrahim is here, and she's going to tell us what's coming up on Joy News Interactive. Good evening to you, Aisha.
Good evening, Israel. Not only the June 3 disaster, a lot more sad issues coming up on the Interactive segment today. Sad to hear a man has killed his mother and injured his brother because a prophet told him they were behind his lack of progress. Who is to blame for this mishap, the man or the prophet?
A lot of people are refusing to think for themselves, and we are just using the Bible to cover up for our actions. If my mother really is the one that is behind my misfortune, she wouldn't really wait for me to grow up to this time to start, all of these things.
We'll also be talking about boat accidents, which has increased in the last few months, with the latest killing 13 people because passengers are not wearing life jackets. How do we manage such situations when people do not want to wear life jackets while traveling by water?
There will have to be extra precautions in terms of managing the drinks, alcoholic drinks especially, that is sold at such places. People taking alcohol and then their judgments and other things, their perception, things that they think about protection, is reduced.
Again, for our health, with the onset of the rains, you can be assured of some mosquito bites. Of course, though, there is a campaign for people to be sleeping in mosquito nets. But would you sleep in mosquito nets? I know some of you feel uncomfortable doing that.
No.
Why?
The holes are too small.
The holes are too small?
The perforation, they are so minute, so the ventilation is very less. So obviously you feel heat when you sleep.
Stick and stay. I'll be back before you know.
Right, and I probably may have some suggestions to get around the tiny holes in your mosquito net. But right in a bit, we'll bring you the headlines. Now, 2 more bodies have been retrieved from the Volta River at Jeji following a boat accident there on Sunday. President Mahama has inaugurated the revamped Commander Sugar Factory. He says will provide 7,000 jobs and cut Ghana's $200 million sugar import bill. Employment and Labour Relations Minister Haruna Idris once again upbeat about the strike by the country's judicial service staff will soon come to an end. In business, ECG is being urged to take advantage of the local capital market in its bid to recapitalize and revamp operations. Now, it's a day that rained sorrow, misery and pain on Ghana, with scores of people dying in the country's worst flood disaster. What aggravated the loss of lives was an explosion and an inferno that consumed pedestrians who had gathered at the Goil filling station to take shelter from the rain. As the anniversary of the disaster approaches on June 3, we bring you some of the survivors' tales. Francis Aban returned to the community in our report.
On a cold Wednesday evening, on the 3rd of June 2015, what may have passed for a regular flood in the capital became a disaster of devastating proportions. Scores of Ghanaians, men, women and children in and around the Goil filling station at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle in Accra were caught up in a flood and fire disaster. Many died, but others also managed to survive.
Fire service for the free if you're I'm
back here when it all started, about a year ago when the flood and fire disaster struck. This is one home I visited and met a lot of victims who were suffering as a result of that disaster. I'm back to see if things have changed for the people. One of the people I spoke to at the time was Afi. She was at the entrance, stricken by everything that had happened, in a very confused state, didn't know what to do. Today she's here. Afi, morning. How are you today?
Fine.
You're fine.
Afi
was forced to sleep on the streets of Adabraka on the night of the disaster. Suffering from a mental disorder, she managed to stay put and remained in the same house which was ravished by fire.
I think you've put on a bit of weight, haven't you?
Yes.
Really? Is that a sign that you've been eating well? You have, eh? Has something changed about you?
No.
Are you pregnant?
Yeah, I'm pregnant.
You are? How many months is it?
4 months.
Okay. You don't look happy telling me you're pregnant. Why?
Because of the fire disaster that happened last week.
Okay. Were you pregnant before then, or was after?
I wasn't pregnant.
Okay. But you should be happy. You are not. Why?
Actually, this was we are afraid of what happens. We wanted to, according to the people here, they said they wanted to sow this place. So.
Okay. So your worry now is where you sleep, because if they sell off this property, you will not have a place to sleep. Okay, that's difficult. But the one who got you pregnant will take you away, wouldn't he? Why? He's not around? You don't know where he is? Do you know him? You don't know him? Do you work now?
Okay, I got, actually, when I got a job at the place, the woman is, she's called Mercy, and she has opened Mercy Catering System. I used to go and help her, and she'll give me a day, 5 cedi a day. But right now, I'm still.
Why? The money is not enough?
And then the money is not enough.
You just stopped? Or you had a fight with Mercy?
I hadn't have
Do you think what happened last year can happen again?
Yeah, we are afraid that it can happen again.
Why? What makes you feel so sure that it can happen again?
Because of how it rains, and we heard that this house they will sow this place, so maybe if they can help us look for another place to stay. I want to move from this place to go and stay at
another place.
Mr. Daniel Mensah is the father of Afi. He lost all his belongings to the disaster last year, and the 65-year-old now works 2 jobs to survive: a real estate agent and a barber.
I used to go up and down. You know, it's Accra. You can sit down and live. You see. So I used to do 1-2-1-2 for my whole living.
Where 1-2-1-2 means what? What did you used to do?
My business. You know, sometimes I used to find room for people.
You are an agent?
I'm an agent.
What else?
Sometimes barbering. I say I was a barber during my youth. So these old men, all the time they do come again.
They come to you?
Yeah.
Since then, have you been comfortable? Is your life better now?
Oh no, you know, things are very bad for us. So we are only waiting. Maybe something can happen. Yeah, we don't know.
But are you still waiting? Because it's been a year. The disaster has happened. One would have imagined that you will have moved on by now.
We can't. We depend upon God. So I say the change will come from God.
Sitting at the entrance of the charred compound house is the 19-year-old young and ambitious John. Peeling open piles of plain polythene bags, he recalls how that fateful night has affected his life for the worst.
I didn't feel happy at all in my heart.
Did you lose a friend?
No, but I know one of my friends which like his face and his hand got bent. And I told him that so far as you are alive, you will give thanks to God. If you have been dead.
Did you get injured that day? Did you get hurt or injured?
Oh, no, I didn't get injured. But it was the water. It was like I was like to die in the water. That's what made me afraid.
Okay. So from that time till now, how has your life been? Have you changed the way you do things? Where you go? when it's raining, what happens to you?
Yeah, it was something like that. If it's raining now, I again to be afraid of when it's raining, it will be flood again. So I don't think like if it's raining, I will not think that if it started raining, I'll find some place where the rain it will not worry me, so that I'll be safe on my life.
Just when I was leaving John, I saw Joycelyn. She was until recently a night seller of noodles close to the Goyle filling station. She has now switched to selling banku and okra soup during the day. She sends us back to the night when her decision not to sell saved her from calamity.
Well, when the thing happened, I was not having money to start. I've stayed in the house for almost, let's say, 6 or 7 months. And moreover, I'm afraid if something happened again, I don't want to sell in the night again. I want to do something daytime. When I finished selling Indomie, I went out. So I came home around 5 p.m. So I was going to market to buy Indomie, and the rain started small. I said, oh, this rain, let me sleep so that tomorrow I can go to morning devotion. So that the back of our house was burning. I said, what is happening? Before the filling station got blasted like bomb, my sister said, Joyce, all of us will die. By then she climbed the wall. I was in the water. The things we have fridge, like 4 fridges in the compound. I wanted to climb the wall, but everything blocked me. So I just asked for forgiveness of my sin. I know about Miss out. I said, God, if I should die, I just take my soul. Every sin I've committed, you just forgive me. I asked for forgiveness of my sin. I was there. Something just said, okay, but Miss I will die. So let me just make it simple. Let me just go under the water and just something said no. But I don't know what carried me. What I realized is I was where my sister was. What I could remember was she was pulling me to climb the wall. I said, no, she should leave me, I will find. When I climbed the wall, I was naked. One man was coming from Adabrakai side and just come and stood beside me. I said, brother, can you please help me? He said, yes. I said, are you sure? He said, yes. So should I jump inside? Then I jumped and he took me outside and I said, come and take my sister. So he came back and take my sister too. When I came out, I was naked. Those guys, junkie, they were holding my buttocks, they were holding me. But that day, where my mind was, I just thank God that I survived.
Considering what happened here last year, what do you think has to change to avoid something like that repeating itself?
Every day the gutter is full. That's the
biggest problem?
Yes.
Okay. But who puts the filth in the gutter? It's all of you, isn't it?
Yes, it's true. But we have, what I think is, like governments, like Saturdays like this, will organize something that the youth should clean the gutter. After finishing doing that, they should dash them something. The next day when they announce, they will come because of what they have received. Do you understand?
For these survivors, the events of the flood and fire disaster have left them heavy in thought, some in the belly, and for others with blurred dreams. The comfort of a night's rest on a pillow with rains hitting their roofs just brings back nightmares. From the Panorama Circle, I am Francis Aban reporting for Joy News.
Stay tuned for a series of reports leading to the anniversary of the June 3 flood and fire disaster. We'll be back after the break with entertainment. All right, time for entertainment, and Miss G has joined me. Good evening to you, Miss G.
Good evening, Israel. How are you doing?
I'm good. Those earrings, they're from South Africa?
Oh, again, you asked, okay, this one right there from Kenya, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harambe.
What's that?
It's Swahili.
Okay. Okay, so I'm so lost. Okay, tomorrow I'll come with something that you also get confused when I say. Anyway, but we're back from a weekend, and over the weekend, Hits FM Rep Your Jersey came off at the Aviation Social Center.
Oh yeah, and yes. I saw you in your jersey.
Uh-huh. Now
you were looking hot.
Okay, yes, that's my jersey. I'm a Manchester United fan. That's my dad's team. They never win anything, so I decided to join them, morale, yes, show up in an Arsenal jersey. But I had a great time there, and here's a report from that event. So the 6th edition of Hits FM's Rep Your Jersey came off over the weekend. It was a beautiful sight to behold as people from all walks of life stormed the Aviation Social Center, repping their favorite team's jerseys. It started with an interleague football and Ampe session fronted by presenters of the station. Dr. Pounce's Banco Boys, who represented Barcelona, faced off with Daybreak Hits presenter KMJ's Wawolo 5, who turned up in their Real Madrid jersey. After Gizzo's Manchester United boys and the Arsenal team could not make it to the finals, KMJ's Wawolo 5 emerged winners of the soccer game. Showbiz Fillers presenter Amanda Gise and Miss G joined some patron in the Ampe game. Then came the eating competition and then the rap battle. Some celebrators also passed through the venue to fraternize with their fans. The game between Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid was later aired on a giant screen for the sports enthusiasts. Then after, the party began.
You guys had fun?
Yes, we had great fun, and I enjoyed playing Ampe. It reminded me of back in the day in junior high school. So it was a great time, at the social aviation.
You were playing Ampe?
Yes, I did play Ampe.
Okay, so the Ampe involves, you jumping up and then, landing on your feet and throwing
your leg, whether you're for Ostrati or Okondo or how we've
call it. So it involves Nyejilo,
Nyekpe. Ekawento.
What's that?
That's Eve.
But the listeners, the viewers need to know.
Okay, you spoke Swahili earlier. You didn't tell me what I meant.
Okay, let's carry on.
Okay, so let's go on to, John Dumelo. He's now an ambassador for the Ministry of Tourism. Yeah. And then people are saying that, this is job for the boys. Job for the boys, What did you really do to merit this position? He's actually been explaining to Mama V on Rhythms A to Z on Joy FM.
It has nothing to do with that at all, because if I was appointed and I was being paid or I was given certain privileges, then you can say this job for the boys. But I am actually using my own resources to play the role as an ambassador. So it has nothing to do with job for the boys, or it has nothing to do with because I said I like this person or that person, hence this is my reward. No, my reward is serving my country, and that is what I'm doing.
All right, so that's John explaining what he does, and we can only wish him well. It's not the only one. We have Abeko Agri Santana,
and
we
have
Abraham Atta as well joining him. So we hope that whatever it is that they mandate us, they are able to accomplish. That's the most important. But let's talk some good news, and this time around it has to do with Choir Master and his wife, actress Beverly Afaglu. They welcomed a baby girl on Beverly's birthday.
Oh wow!
So it was a double dose for her. Yes, she had a birthday.
Design it? Is that a designer baby?
Well, I think so, because she posted on Instagram that it's a double dose for me. And they already have a girl, so they have a baby girl, and then they have another now. So she's got Choir Master now happens to be the only man in the family, but he has 3 other girls with him now, and the baby is called Cora.
So there are 2 girls in that house?
3 girls, actually, including Beverly herself.
No, okay, Beverly is out.
Okay,
but I'm
yeah.
looking at the potential, brides in the house.
2.
So there are 2 girls.
Why, you want your boys to go for them?
Well, I need to just know what the options are.
So that you can tell your boys what to do and where to look.
Yeah.
Beverly, choir master, watch out. Israelite boys are coming for.
Don't worry, they come from a good stock.
I know.
I'm sure you don't mind.
Please be wary of dogs. I'm sure you know the story. Beware of dogs and
beware of dogs.
Yeah, be wary of dogs. Get that on your post anyway. All right, so that's it for Beverly and then choir master welcoming their baby girl to the family. But Abraham Bata is in the news again. This time around, he goes visiting the presidential.
Candidates
for
the flag bearer of the NPP.
The NPP. He goes speaking to him about his upcoming concert, which is July 18th. Yes, it says he's going to have something to talk about peaceful elections. So I'm sure that is about how he's starting, showing us or to show us what he's made of as a tourism ambassador. So he's been speaking to the flag bearer. I wish I was the Baramata. He's been to see President John Mahama. He's talking to the vice president now. He's with the presidential candidate of the NPP. Next time, I don't know what he's with.
Is that why you wish to be him? I'm sure he also wishes to be you.
Oh, really?
Or there are lots of people who wish to be you.
Oh, I've forgotten that Abraham Mata and I are actually very close friends. You know that story. Anyway.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. G, for bringing us entertainment.
More details tomorrow.
All right, sure. Okay, then. Up next, we bring you sports.
Entertainment news was brought to you.
All right, so earlier on, I was telling you about all that we're doing ahead of the elections this November or December, whenever it happens. One of the things we've done is we've launched a brand new website, or we've revamped myjoyonline.com. So as you can see, it's looking all spanky and beautiful. Gary, I'm sure you'd agree with me.
Yeah, sure.
So there's a brand new website, and it comes with a brand new mobile app as well. And
I want to click on sports.
On sports.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're here.
Yeah.
All right.
There we are.
Ah ha ha ha.
Looks good, doesn't it?
It is. It does look good.
Yeah, so this is what the sports.
So Jose Mourinho takes first day tour as a Manchester United manager.
Yeah, they took him around as if he was going for an excursion. This is our training ground.
Okay.
This is our washroom.
This is Gary Al Smith.
And I'm here with the sports.
All right, take it up.
Right, and this is the Sport on Prime. Hi, I'm Gary Al Smith, and today the Black Stars players started getting into town ahead of their game with Mauritius this weekend. It's the AFCON 2017 qualifier, and as you may know, a lot of countries have been playing friendly matches, but the Black Stars haven't, because their scheduled game with Guinea on the 28th or 27th, as the case may be, was cancelled due to some external reasons. But they're in town and they've started training. They had their first one today, and the report put together by Asara Bediako tells us who is in town and who will be back.
The Black Stars of Ghana held their first training session this afternoon at the Accra Sports Stadium ahead of their AFCON 2017 qualifier against Mauritius on Sunday. 18 players out of the 23-man squad trained on day one. Thomas Partey of UEFA Champions League runners-up Atletico Madrid was conspicuously missing. Also absent were Daniel Amate, Razak Brahima, Alfred Duncan and Edwin Jima. Black Stars coach Ephraim Grant is happy with the performance the players he invited exhibited in Europe last season.
I think they played well. I think since Africa Cup, all the players that play changed their teams, and there was in other teams, and I know that all the teams are very happy from them, and they played well this season. Of course, they need always to want to achieve more and improve their quality, because this squad is a very young players. I think the most, except 2 players, most of the players 25, 26. It means that they can play a long time, and as long as they will be with the right mentality, and we speak a lot about the mentality, they will be better and better, and we'll find them also in better leagues, like now in the English league we have players in other leagues, And the most important that they will come to the Black Star, they will give their contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Patrick Chumesi, who plays for Astana FC in Kazakhstan, is one of the 3 debutants. The youngster is happy to play for his country of birth, but his main focus is not getting a regular place in the team.
It's a great feeling, and I feel very good, and I was happy when I get a call up. Yeah, for me, it doesn't matter about position in my team. I just trying to do my best to help my team, and the most important thing is to qualify for the African Cup of Nations.
Andre Ayew will captain the Black Stars in the absence of injured Asamoah Gyan, and the Swansea City playmaker is poised to lead Ghana to victory on Sunday.
I've done the job a lot of times, and in the past or to happen again. So what is important is that, try and keep the unity in camp. Try and let everybody focus. We don't have to put pressure on ourselves. Just take our time, play our game. We know we are a better side if we give our 100%. So we need to we don't have to underrate Mauritius and do what we know how to do. That's score the goals and, let's get the 3 points and prepare for Gabon.
The Black Stars lead Group H of the AFCON 2017 qualifiers with 10 points, and the AFCON 2015 runners-up need just a point to book a place in Gabon.
And they will take it easy, as Andrea Ayew says. All they need is a draw. Coming home, though, there are some issues that have reared their heads this weekend. Hooliganism has been a major thorn across all Ghana's football tiers. And this morning, GN Bank, a subsidiary of Group Indom, confirmed the suspension of their sponsorship of the Division 1 League. They say that there's too much crowd violence happening and the GFA is not doing much.
This is the first time. Way back last year, we had cause to complain about indiscipline in the Division 1 League. And let me state this in authority. It is not because the current issue has anything to do with the Elimina Sharks. Indeed, there have been countless occasions where we've complained about hooliganism in many stadia. That's particularly in relation to the Division 1 League. That was last year. Even this year, with the same, because you see, we are investing in the Division 1 League by way of sponsorship. And as a brand, we're also looking for mileage. And no businessman will be happy to be connected to a brand that shows acts of hooliganism, hoodlum, and acts of vandalism. And so clearly, it's an issue that bothered us right from the day that we went into agreement with the Division 1 League to sponsor the Division 1. And indeed, we stated it clear that a Division 1 League is not too pleasant. But we believe that, yes, still, there's a need to also revive soccer at that level. Because even if it should come, not to the measure that will go to the extent of beating up a coach of a team to a pulp. And so last Saturday's incident involving Elimina Sharks and Proud FC, is it Proud Uniteds, in Second D, was the last straw, or is the last straw. And clearly shows that the football officials, be it the Division 1 League or the FA itself, is not up to this task. So we've made it clear to them that if indeed they cannot give us any concrete measures that suggest that indeed they'll be dealing with hooligans, then I'm sorry, we can't be party to such acts of indiscipline. We surely now, currently, it's been suspended. Our involvement with the Division 1 League, that is by way of sponsorship, is suspended, pending concrete assurance. And of course, it goes with measures that indeed, if indeed we should buy into it, we should really be convinced before we continue with the sponsorship. So for now, it's been suspended. And clearly, if they're not able to convince us that they're going to deal with it, clearly we'll be out of the sponsorship.
He's quite clear in his assessment, isn't he? There's more on this story on myjoyonline.com, where we chronicle the 9 incidents of hooliganism across Ghana's football tiers that have happened in just the last 5 weeks. Speaking of countdowns, there's a lot happening in terms of the build-up to Euro 2016. We have 11 days more to go. The kickoff is in France, but today we check out the top 5 goals in the qualifiers for Italy.